From a pretty stressful case, website going down, no leads, suspensions from Google, website outages for over a month to 4 leads a day. What a turnaround. So a couple of months ago, I had a regrouting, caulking and tiling specialist reach out to me. Nice fella, was referred to, and he reached out and says, hey, I need help with my website. And I looked at his website and I'm like, there's not much I can help here, it's just non-existent. His website was completely down. And it must have been like that for a while, a number of months. Now, when the site goes down straight away, but you're still showing up on Google, especially the Google listing, you still get some leads through the door. People know of you, they remember you, or take a note while your site was up. Now, in this case, he had 2 domains. It was an absolute nightmare to log into the DNS. He had no idea logins anywhere, but he had a Wix website, absolute rubbish website. And I was telling him, I don't know how you're actually getting leads, because this site shouldn't be, it's not showing up, it shouldn't be showing up. But he was in a, look, I don't want to call it a small town, but not in a major city. So we went through the rabbit hole of reinstating his website. Basically, the DNS had changed between Wix and whoever the provider was. Maybe there was a suspended billing, maybe there was some kind of an update through the DNS. And so I got it back up and running. Happy days. Case closed. It was just a goodwill gesture. It's not something I bill for. I just got him out of trouble. Now, all good. Happy days. A couple of weeks later, I get a phone call, and now the tone is a bit more stressed. No calls at all. No pings, no inquiries. And I said to him, I go, look, I honestly don't know where the calls were coming from initially, because your site wasn't actually really ranking anywhere. It wasn't mobile optimized. It was literally a Wix website that you get your son to make and figure it out, or you figure out yourself. It was just very bad as it was getting. But it must have been just aged and popping up somewhere in this town. I wouldn't call it a small town. It's definitely in the top 10 cities of Australia, just not a major city. I know this space quite well. Regrouting, recaulking, tiling, bath renovations, kitchen renovations. So the first thing we did is I mapped out the pages of a new site, a foundational site. I asked him to send me some photos of yourself, logo, signage. Of course, he had none of those. But there was one good photo he could send me of him in front of his ute. His ute had a logo, and with the use of AI, I was able to completely redraw the logo, give it to him in high quality, and I was then able to create about 10 service pages. Caulking, regrouting, balcony, leaking this, leaking shower, each one got its own page. Now, I've just built my fair share of these sites. Hold up, I think my dog's just laying another brick. How many bricks do you want to lay? It's 3 bricks per hour right now. Good posture, Stella. Felt the tone, I felt the urgency, smashed out unique AI images as best as I could. We built a custom software where I load up best photos of the client, any signage, any colors, any branding, and we're able to spit out some unique images for each service, which is awesome. Got a landing page up, headline, image. Within a few days, indexed the website, submitted it to Google Search Console, submitted to Bing Webmaster Tools, which is of course ChatGPT. Less than a week in, 2 to 3 leads a day, now 4 leads a day. We now need to work on reinstating the Google listing. It's not totally suspended, but when there's a 404 on the site, Google doesn't like that. Down go your rankings. Plus, I think the client was messing around and he changed his Google business setup from a service-based business where it's not showing an address to, he attempted to show his home address, which is good if you can prove that there's a legitimate business there. Signage, show the till, run around like an idiot and show you the street, so you prove to Google that it's a legitimate business there. But if you can't do that, you stay suspended, which is not good. So we need to work on reinstating that, but happy to say, leads coming through. Now this is normally where I'd push for a Google ad because the key terms are pretty clear. Leaking shower, leaking balcony, caulking, regrouting. I've spent 50 grand or more of Google ads budget in my 10 years of doing this. Tiling, home painting even in there. So happy days. What I also did is I picked up a domain in the space myself. So it's the town plus regrouting. I'm going to build it out as an additional site. I reckon I can rank for it. There's a few huge competitors that simply have these thousands of geo pages. While those are monster sites and sites that we kind of respect and they could be big blockers, a lot of the time the geo-relevant business, the business in that suburb that has a business listing there, will outrank those geo pages. Sometimes it's franchises that genuinely are in those suburbs. They're a little bit harder when there is a unique Google Places with unique reviews, of course. But if they don't, then it's just one of the 1,000 pages that they have to try and pick up traffic in that space. If we're legitimately in that suburb, we will rank for those terms. So happy days, but we do want to add a bit more juice to it. This is where I'd add about 5 to 10 blogs on each topic. So shower, leaking shower, topics on leaking balcony, what's the purpose of regrouting, what's the difference between regrouting and caulking, all of the supporting questions, essentially to prove to Google that we are a trustworthy site on the topic, that we're an authority on the topic. What I also think worked really well in this case is we don't look like a big brand with a big franchise. We are the sole operator, so it's the business owner standing in front of his ute. Like you're going to be speaking directly to him, which means he might be a bit more agile, which means he might be cheaper, a bit more personal, potentially cash jobs and everything else that comes with that. Yeah, this is why I love doing what I do, because of scenarios like this. It makes my day when I get a message saying, hey, 4 leads today. I'm very happy.